Alright. Hello. Sorry for being a little late. As you see, qualifying is just wrapping up. But welcome back to FRL.
As the drivers are lining up to start this race. It was a very competitive qualifying with Royal taking pole by over a tenth and a half over Heath Pierce, I believe. Once he retired from the race, it's like Royal might be on the hard, so still that plays off the leader as we go green at so one gets away well. It's gonna be interesting to see how they fan out in the turn one. Royal holds the lead. The Teacher's coming back on him with Man 15 right behind. Teacher's gonna take the lead on those softer medium compounds. And here comes Man 15 as well. Royal fighting back. Going into sector 2 through the slow right-hander hairpin. Teacher's gonna surge out ahead. Sebastian Cotillo's trying to get up with them. Right now, Royal just needs to hang on to the two leaders as he is on the harder compound, so he's not going to have enough grip throughout these opening laps. But if he can keep hanging on, then those hard tires will come to him as the race goes on.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, Looking further down the field, we can see that Play Games has dropped back a lot from his starting position. I do believe he started in 4th and he's all the way down to 7th now.
Finishing the first lap, there's a battle in the midfield between Sussy, Mianitin, and Play Games, who are all on the medium compounds, I believe.
Moving back to the front. Man 15.
Meanwhile, Milo moving back up into P4, passing Sebastian Kittel. I'm not sure what compound he's on. He might be on the softs. But he is making up positions right now. Oh no, he's on the mediums. So Milo off to a good start. Now challenging Royal for P3. Again, Royal's on those hards. So he does not have the grip right now. And coming into the second lap, this is the first lap where we see the cars at full speed. T-Jerk with the fastest lap right now. We'll see if anyone else can take it away from him, and it doesn't look like that's the case. Milo holding P3 right now, but Royal's not going to let him go too easily. Royal's showing pretty good pace despite being on the less grippier tires. But I believe it's good for these guys on the mediums because we know around this track, as shown previously, it's very hard to pass because of the dirty air and the lots of corners and short straightaways. So it will be interesting to see how Royal will maneuver through it later on.
Definitely. If he winds up going long on these hard tires and overcutting everyone, then he'll probably lose a bunch of spots. Definitely set for a good race.
Oh, what happened to T-Jerk? He was
Oh,
leading the race and now in P5.
and that leaves
Must
man
have made a
15 to
mistake
inherit
somewhere.
the lead.
Yeah, whatever that mistake was from T-Jerk, it definitely costed him big time.
Oh,
Now he needs to make all that ground back up.
and he just made another mistake through the S's.
So now T-Jerk's not going to have that clean air advantage, and now he has to work through all this traffic to get back into the front. As we have our first DNF of the race, it's Young 89. So Young retires at the beginning of lap
Oh,
4
what's happened to Play
of
Games?
this
What's happened to
race.
Play Games? Play Games is frozen
Looks
on
like Play
track.
Games is frozen. He might disconnect from another disconnection issue. We've seen this a lot the last two seasons, season 6 and season 7. We'll see if he can come back. Meanwhile, meanwhile, Teacher getting around Royal or P3. Of course, Royal on those hard tires. And Milo up to P2 all the way from P6. So very good race from Milo so far. Let's see if he can hang on and maybe challenge Map 15 for the lead. And now Royal and T-Jerk are beginning to close in on Milo. They are right to the back because they both go wide, but they're going to be helped by the slipstream of Milo down this straightaway into this next corner. It's going to be very interesting to see. Oh, T-Jerk makes a small mistake. But anyways, it's going to be very interesting to see how the strategies will turn out. Who's gonna pit first? Who's gonna stay out the longest and try and capitalize on the fresh tires? As it looks like GV David, I'm not sure what happened, but he dropped down the leaderboard
Looks like he made a
as he
corner
makes a
cut because
corner cut in the chicane.
he's losing space, he's losing time all the way down to the first corner. And Play Games has disconnected now, so
Yep, Play Games has disconnected. That is another DNF from Internet for Play Games.
super unfortunate. Very fast driver with horrible internet.
Meanwhile, the battle for P2 rages on as T-Jerk's looking to make back the ground he lost. And now he is overtaken Milo for P2. Let's see if Milo can fight back. Dietrich takes a wide line. Milo's going to capitalize that and go on the inside and retake that second spot. Both of them trying to hunt down Map 15, who is putting a little bit of a gap on them. 8/10 of a second when it was, I believe, 6/10 a lap or so ago.
Slam up to his second.
Meanwhile, Sebastian Cattell has dropped back a little bit. He's now in the P6, and well, he was fighting with the leaders just a couple of laps ago. So Sebastian not liking these tires right now, and now he's under threat of Sussy and Dust. So it looks like Sebastian Vettel really struggling on this set right now.
Looks like TJ's been closing the gap to man 15. Managed to take away a
Yep,
tenth in one lap.
yep, it is 7/10 of a second now. Of course, the dirty air is really showing around this track, so it will be very, very challenging for TJ to get around map 50.
You know, the closer he gets, the more hard it will be.
And I think, personally, I really think TJ is the quicker car of the two. And
I know that this
I
has been
believe if
historically one of TJ's best tracks, so I'm not gonna lie, I think he's probably a favorite for the win today, TJ.
it's also going to be very crucial for him to try and close that gap and make up as much time before the hard tires of Royal start to come in and be the preferable tire
Oh,
of the
did he
stand. As
just?
T-Jerk makes a small corner cut, yeah. And here comes Milo attacking T-Jerk for P2.
Well, I said TJ may have been my favorite for the win, but he won't be if he keeps making mistakes like that.
Meanwhile, Royal is slowly closing in. Looks like those hard tires are starting to come in for Royal on lap 9. As we have our first pitter of the day, it is Hazard. So let's see what tire he will go on.
Goes from the softs to the mediums. Going for a two-stop?
A medium. Looks like he is. So We'll see when he will make another pit stop again. Meanwhile, back to the front, it is very close between second and fourth. Map 15 put a little bit of a gap after Tiedrick made that mistake. Royal right all over the back of the gearbox of Milo. He's trying to maneuver his way back to the front. Royal, of course, he won round one at Flevo last week. He is the current championship leader after that win, and he's gonna want to go back to back as he make as he surges into the first corner, into the second corner, trying everything he can to maneuver around Milo. He knows these medium tire guys are gonna pit soon, so he needs to make up all the ground he can before they stop. As he goes a little wide, he's gonna fall a little bit more back to Milo. Meanwhile, there's also a midfield battle for P5 as three drivers are within a couple tenths of each other. Yannington and Sussy having a very good battle, taking very different lines through the corners. Sussy coming out in front. Now he's gonna try and go after Sebastian Kittel, who he's been trying to go after for the last couple laps. Bennington for Latin Racing. I believe he finished P6 last time out, so it was a very good race from him after a poor qualifying start.
Yeah, he finished P6 last week.
Usasi goes a little wide, that's going to give the momentum to Myanington.
Oh,
Meanwhile, Dustin behind.
going up to the front, TJ's closed the gap to just half a second.
TJ Sarah, he knows the time to pounce is now, as I believe it's not much longer until Royals hard tires will start to come in. He goes very wide through the corner, getting a lot of understeer from the dirty air and the old tires. M15 just has to keep his composure like he's been doing, because
Royal
he
has gotten
knows that
around
the
Milo.
dirty air is very strong. Yep, Royal moves up in the P3. So it looks like Royal is showing some really strong pace right now on those hard tires. As P6 continues to go on with Sussy and Mannington, Sussy with a very good line through the corners, keeping it nice and tight. Meanwhile, it looks like Dust is closing in on this battle. He's trying to mix it up with them.
Ian went a little
He's been,
wide.
yep, that's going to give some breathing space to Sussy and pursue on catching Sebastian Kittel. Back at the front, though, I think it's time we need to monitor the gap between Royal and the front two, because
Oh,
Royal, there's a Royal is frozen on track. It would be a shame if he were to disconnect
that would
the
be a real
defending
shame.
winner who won last week. Could disconnect from this race, just like we've seen of play games.
And there goes his
We'll have to
teammate.
wait and see.
Oh, he's out.
And he's out.
That's a
Royal's out of
third
this
DNF.
race. That is the third DNF and the second of an internet issue. So Royal, who won last week at Flevo, is not going to win this week. And he's going to take a massive hit in the point standings after this DNF. So that's going to be very unfortunate for the Constructors and the Drivers' Championship. We'll have to see how this race plays out on how much he will lose to his rivals. Meanwhile, T-Jerk is attacking Man 15 for that spot. He's been closing the gap ever so slightly. And it will be interesting to see if these guys will commit to a two-stop or a one-stop. If they were to commit to a one-stop, I believe they would pit in a couple laps time. If they were to commit to a two-stop, I think they would have to pit now. Man 15 goes a little wide. That's going to give the advantage to Royal as the gap is now 3/10. Man 15 is definitely feeling the pressure, but he's done a good job to limit the amount of mistakes he's done. Just keep it on track. Teacher, of course, throwing the car to every corner as we've been seeing. Oh, as they're both coming in, Diedrich and Man 15 are both coming in. And that's going to give the race lead to Milo.
Whole bunch of drivers
Many
now coming
drivers
in
are also
following
coming
him.
into the pits.
T-Jerk goes onto another set of mediums. They're two
He's going
stopping.
onto the mediums.
Man 15 going for the
While Man 15
softs.
goes to soft. So it looks like it will be a two-stop race for many of these drivers. We'll see if anyone goes onto the hards. And it looks like most drivers, if not everyone,
Oh, Man
is
15 went onto
on
soft
either.
tires. TJ on mediums.
Yep. Looks like everyone's going to be committed to a two-stop.
And now they're coming up on a whole bunch of traffic.
It's going to be very interesting to see what Milo does because he's staying now at end. Does he really think he has enough laps to make the two-stop work from here? Or will he try and extend the stint and go into a one-stop? As Milo comes in, so we will see what tire compound he will go on. He was P3 before the pit stop sequence. And he goes on to the soft tires. So Milo is going to go onto the two-stop strategy.
But how
And
powerful is that
that
undercut? It
leaves,
looks like a very powerful undercut. Sebastian Coteau has just about caught him, and Man 15 and TJ are a ways away. Super powerful undercut. That
yep,
had to be
as the
worth
two
at
leaders
least a
go at it.
second.
Yep, as the two leaders go at it, looks like Teacher takes the lead on those medium tires. So it looks like Teacher is in a good position right now, but he needs to ensure that he maintains that clean air
And of course,
because if
since
he
they
gets
both
into dirty air, it's going to be hurt harder.
And of course, since
But
TJ
Teacher,
still has to pick another compound, is he gonna pit later for a pair of softs or early for a pair of hards?
I believe he has to go on this offset. He sets the fastest lap of the race with a 102.6. That is a very competitive time with the medium tires on. Teacher showing a lot of pace right now.
So here's the thing: if he has to for the softs later, right? We just saw how extremely powerful the undercut is. Is TJ gonna be able to make back the gap that Man 15 will build when he undercuts him?
It's going to be interesting to see because Teeter, I believe, will go on to the soft tires unless if he decides to pit early. And Man 15 will, I believe, it will be interesting to see what he goes on because he needs to, I believe he will need to extend the soft stint to go on to another pair of softs. If not, he will be forced to go into the mediums if he stays out, if he doesn't make a stint too long. But right now, TJ holding good pace with Man 15 as Man 15 kind of misses the apex. These two drivers are pushing it to the very limits. They know how important the clean air is, so both drivers trying to get out in front and pull a margin on the other one. Meanwhile, Miannington up to P5, overtaking Sussy imposter, and he's now going to set his eyes on Sebastian Coetel. As there are many midfield battles on track right now. There's a battle for PA between Dawson and MTA, who just overtook JT.
JT, I do believe, is attempting to do a one stop, so he's on old hards.
Yep. Now JT under attack of Yoto and HD Mur. Dustin, of course, on those fresh tires, pulling a huge gap to JT.
I mean, you can just see how much he's having to force the car to turn when you're on board with him. And he's still got about 5 more laps of this if he wants to make it to a medium stint.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see if he can stay in the points. As he misses the apex, and now Alpha Raikkonen is going to go by him. Meanwhile, Mianington is closing in on Coetel, I believe. Oh, as JT goes wide. And he's going to be under pressure of GD and Blaze. I mean, Quattros, excuse me. Anyways, Mianington now 3/10 from Sebastian. Sussy's also in the mix as well. Mianington, of course, on the soft tires, so he will have the most grip right now. But for how long is the question, if he can manage those soft tires to utilize the grip. Looks like Sebastian has put a little bit of a gap to Mianington. And now Sussy is right there behind him. This is very important for the constructors' points because now that Hispania has 2 drivers, one is DNF'd and the other one is out of the points. So, and I believe second in the constructors is H71, so they will need to really capitalize on this. Let's go on board with Sussy and see if I change their mind. As I believe the JT who is on the one stopper, it's like he is so falling back right now. And when he pits, I believe he's going to come out in last after everyone else, including himself, pits. So it does not look too good for JT right now. So
he will undercut the
looks like
entire
being
field, but I'm not sure that'll be enough. However, I do believe that he is a D2 driver who is reserving, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he is. He races in D2 as a main driver.
Yeah. So,
meanwhile, the battle for the lead continues on as Tidrick and Man15 keep swapping the points. The first place. Let's go on board with Man15 and see both of their lines as one tries to pass the other one. Tidrick pulling a good gap to Man15, pretty comfortable. Man15 using all of the curve on in the inside and the exit, trying everything he can. As we have another DNF, we have Watchers who DNF from the race. I believe he was holding on to that last points position, so that's unfortunate for him.
opens the door for other drivers, though.
Yep. So Yoto now in the points. As Tidrick tries to weave, it's like Tidrick is. It's like those soft tires are beginning to die out. As Tidrick makes a small corner cut. But yeah, I believe those soft tires are beginning to die out now. And now the mediums have the advantage. It's just a matter if it's just a matter of who makes the least mistakes, who makes the best line splitting corner. As JT pits for his first stop of the day, this hard tire stand unfortunately didn't go out too well for him, but
Goes
it
under
looks
the
like he's
mediums.
going to go
Definitely a one stop.
again to the end of the race.
Hazard also pit onto softs.
Meanwhile, back to the front, M15 and T-Drake still within slipstream range. T-Drake, of course, pulling away ever so slightly. But Man 15, of course, isn't losing too much time to him. And he will want that going into the final stop as Mannington pits. 16 laps to go in this race, and Mannington has made a pit stop right now. We'll see what tire he's going to go on. And he's going to go on to the medium tire.
I do believe he was on the softs for the previous stint, so I'm pretty sure this is his last stop here.
Yep. So it's going to be a pretty long stint for Mannington as he's going to have to go 16 laps on the mediums, and we know how much the tire degradation is around this track.
Definitely, I'd say it's really pushing it to do a two stop, a medium soft. I'd say that your tires are gonna be dead by the end of each of your stints
Oh,
for
Man
sure.
15's in. Man 15 is in.
Looks like he's going to be undercutting TJ. He makes a stop onto the mediums, and he'll be coming out just in front of Dust Dizzle, who then of course has more speed and goes ahead, but misses the apex, which means he's now got clean air all the way up to Sussy, who is about 5 seconds up ahead of him. This could
So
be
Man
really
15
good.
comes out of this in P5 right now, just ahead of Dust. So it will be crucial to see what TJ does. Does he want to extend this stint and push it farther to then have a go at it for these last few laps? But I do believe it's a little too early to pit right now, especially for the last stint.
Milo
As
in,
Milo's in the pits right now.
also starting on, also on the softs of
It
that
was
previous stint. So this is where all the soft runners seem to be coming in. I wouldn't be surprised if Dustin comes in.
Yep,
As I say
Dustin's
that,
in. TJ does have to go onto the soft tires, so we'll see when he will pit.
my guess is he won't be pitting for at least another 4 laps, maybe 5. He needs to make sure that those soft tires can reach to the end, especially since he's probably only going to be catching up to Man 15 right at the end of that.
For sure, as let's monitor the gap between Man 15 and TJ until TJ decides to pit, as I believe he did stay out.
Yeah, he has stayed
And we
out.
have another retirement. We have another retirement from the race. It's JT, who was on that one-stop strategy, and now he's going to be out of this race with 14 laps to go. We'll see how Man 15 maneuvers through the traffic of Sussy and potentially Cato if he does catch up.
I'll say this, if you're looking at just the gap to the leader, Man 15 has made up 2 seconds so far. After the pit, he was about 19 seconds, or about 17 seconds back from TJ. Now it's down to 15. Undercut is super powerful around here.
Yeah, Man 15's really trying to push it through these corners right now. Takes very good lines through these corners, using all of the apex. And coming to the line, it looks like he gained about a second on this lap.
I tell you what, at this rate, I don't know if TJ will be able to make up that gap in the last stint. Because at this point, that gap's got to be at least at, when he pits, the gap will have to be at least 5 seconds, I'd say. Because TJ can't pit yet, because he has to go on to the soft tires. And the soft tires, I don't believe they can last 10 laps.
Yeah, but they're going to be, compared to the tire life, they're going to be very good compared to Map 15's worn out medium. So it's going to be a very, very close finish between the two drivers.
Certainly.
As the gap was 14.4 between Map 15 and TJ when he started this lap. It is now going to be 13.0. So Map 15, 1.4 seconds that lap. He's really pushing it. And he's coming up to the car of Sebastian Vettel. We'll see if Vettel will pit this lap. Because if he doesn't, then Map 15 will have to go through the dirty air. And that's going to ever so hamper his effort to catch, to continue to minimize that gap to T-Jerk before he pits. And bear in mind, these are the drivers that have not gone off the mediums this entire race. So mediums have been the only tire they've been using, so surely they will go on to the softs for their last stint. It's just a matter of when.
Looking through the field, there are still like half the drivers who have not pit yet for their final stint. TJ, Sebastian Coteau, Sussy Imposter, Dust Dizzle, GD David, Alpha Raikkonen. I would say Chimer, but he just went into the pits on the mediums. Is he going to be the first to hop onto the softs? Yes, he is. He's going to try to make them last 10 laps.
Yep, so will that lead the other drivers to, making a pit stop this coming lap? Especially the leader. We will have to see. As the gap now between Man 15 and TJ, who Man 15 has gone around
TJ
Sebastian.
in. TJ into the
TJ's
pits.
in the pit.
So now all
So the
eyes
gap
on
is about
Sebastian
10
Coteau.
seconds. Catel's in as well.
All
So
eyes on Man
these
15.
drivers will these drivers will go on to the soft tires and they will now have to pursue on catching up to Map 15. Those medium tires have proven to have a lot of life in them if you're consistent. Shown as teacher, because I really thought the time Map 15 will gain would be more,
It's still a
but it wasn't,
hefty
and teacher
margin.
continues to stay consistent. Yep, 6.6. We'll see what teacher can do on those fresh softs.
It's already just collapsing down. I mean, in the mini
6.3
sectors,
now.
he's gained full tenths. He's got to be getting
Meanwhile,
at least a
Cattell
tenth of
comes.
every point.
Meanwhile, Cattell comes in front of Nyannington, and now he will have about 7 seconds ahead of him to catch up to Milo, who was the first driver to pit. So we will see if Cattell can step on the podium. So teacher already bringing that gap down to 5.6 seconds. Let's run on board with him this lap as he sets up purple sector 1. Teacher's really pushing the limits. He goes a little wide. the fast right-hander, takes a very nice line, goes wide, but keeps it very clean.
Going
As
just
you
a
know, the
little
space
wide won't
available.
ruin your lap time too much, and he just sets another purple sector.
Dietrich is really flying right now. He is trying everything he can to catch up to Man 15 right now as he takes a brilliant line through those corners. He's made up almost 2 seconds this lap alone. And coming to the line, surely this will be the fastest lap, as it is. With a 102.3. So very good lap by Teacher. Teacher is on the chart. Dietrich has about 5 laps older tires than Man 15. However, we have seen from Dietrich that even after about 6-7 laps, those mediums start to become better. So we'll see how Dietrich will do on the 10-lap stint. He goes a little wide through here, but he's still pushing it to the very limit.
There seems to be a very large battle going on back around P7. Whole bunch of cars lined up just behind Dustin. Looks like a DRS train, but we don't have DRS.
Yep, we'll see if Dust can try and catch up to Dustin, whose driver, Man 15, left for, I believe he left for Hispania, I believe.
Man
I'm
15,
not
yeah,
quite
I
sure.
believe he left for Hispania and Vision.
Yeah.
But,
He
or
left
no, he's for
for,
Racing Star, it's what it says he's driving for.
I mean that he left Hispania for Racing Star. Anyways, that gap between P1 and P2 continues to claw down. Teacher now 3 seconds away from Man 15.
Will TJ be able to get there before his soft tires die?
And it will be very interesting to see how Man 15 defends, how he will use the dirty air to his advantage. Will he weave on the straightaways? Because I believe in Season 4, it was Slat Ice who was leading, and he held off Andy for multiple laps until Andy finally got around him on the fresher tires. And these are the same cars as in Season 4, so the slipstream is the same, the handling is the same, the dirty air is the same, so we will see how this plays out. Meanwhile, the gap is 2.1 as Tetrick is coming into that dirty air range. How much will it hamper his effect?
Going very wide.
Yep, he's trying to get all of the speed out of that corner. As he can see Map 15 in his sights, he is now 1.9 seconds behind.
Gap is down to 1.5. He should be within the dirty air slipstream range right about now.
Map 15 just needs to keep it on the road. To push as much as he can to disallow Teacher to gain more time on him. As we get later into this stage of the set, maybe those soft tires could be losing their wear and Teacher could be losing the advantage, and it could be equalizing between the two. As the gap is now 1 second between the two drivers, 1.1. Man 15 keeping his composure, not leaving on the straightaway, going into turn 1. Looks like Man 15 had a little bit of a slow corner there as Teacher gained a lot of time on him. And now Booty's S is the second one. Featured right on the gearbox on map 15. He's now in the slipstream on map 15. It's less than 3/10, 2/10 now. T-Jerk on those fresher tires and softer compound now going to is now going to be right alongside man 15. And it's like he's going to take the lead away from man 15 with 4 laps to go. Can man 15 fight back? Will those soft tires lose their grip? Or has T-Jerk done enough to keep man 15 behind with 3 laps to go? Both drivers using a lot of that curb in turn 1 as they've been doing all race. Man 15 trying to stay within range of T-Jerk. Oh,
Oh,
T-Jerk makes a mistake! Man 15 will take that lead back. And T-Jerk's going to have to do all of that work again to get around him as he goes wide. This is very good for man 15 as those soft tires begin to wear out compared to the mediums. Meanwhile, Kato is closing the gap 1.3 to Milo. He's made up 6 seconds winning his stint. He's looking for his first podium of the season. Now back to the
actually,
lead. It is now 4/10. With 2 laps to go. Can Teeter get there?
it's all or nothing these last 2 laps. All or nothing.
It has been a great battle between these two drivers. Teeter makes another mistake. It's not as harmful as the other one, but Teeter making quite a few mistakes through here.
When he makes another
As
mistake
Teeter
going a
goes
little wide.
wide, Teeter trying to push the car to the very limit.
I think his tires are falling off and he's not used to the understeer he's getting.
Teeter needs to find a way around man 15. He cannot be stuck behind his dirty airs. He keeps going wide. This has been a great battle between these two drivers this entire race. And now it's going to come down to the very last lap as we are a few corners away from beginning the final lap of this race. Teacher and man 15 separated by 4/10, 3/10 now. Teacher trying to get the slipstream as we start the white flag of this race. Going into turn 1, both drivers taking a very good line. Teacher's closing. Man 15 using a lot of curb, almost corner cutting. The gap is now 1.5 between, 0.15 between the two. Peter trying everything he can to get around man 15. He's got half a lap to go. Man 15 goes a little wide. That might give an opportunity to Teeter as the two drivers are now side by side. Both of their tires are pretty much worn out as Teeter, I believe, surges ahead. Last sector. Teeter goes wide.
Woo!
Man 15 takes the lead. Teeter, crucial mistake. And it looks like man 15 has done enough. He's limited the mistakes he's made, and he's going to hold off Teacher and win at Luco.
And then a little bit further
What a
back, we got
battle
Sebastian
between the
Coteau and
two.
Milo. Looks like Milo will be taking the final podium position.
Yep, and Sebastian Coetel will come in P4 as we wait for the rest of the field to finish the race. Celsi Imposter coming home in P5. This will be good championship points for H71. Mianington in 6 again for Latin Racing. Dust Sizzle and GD David 7th and 8th. Nelson and H. Moore 9th and 10th. Raikkonen comes home 11th and Yoto comes home 12th to finish off the points.
And then outside the points,
As
we
we
have two
wait,
drivers finishing. Brody James and Blazed. And it looks like at some point Hazard DNF'd. I think we missed that. And
yeah, he
Blazed
DNF'd during.
is just chilling.
Yeah, I can't tell if he stopped or if he is about to disconnect, and it looks like
I think he
It was just
DNF'd.
stopped and decided to retire, yeah. So that is the Division One Round Two race at Lukov. It was a very promising race
Very
and a very
eventful.
promising battle. We had a lot of battles throughout the track and a lot of different strategies throughout the entire field, especially with the front two. And Man 15, of course, proved to come out on top. And it was very deserved and challenging for him as he had to fend off Teacher, who was on the softer compound. And in the end, Man 15 made just just kept the mistakes out of reach and came home with the win.
What an insane race. I think that's definitely gonna reach for one of the top races of the season. It's early, so it's hard to tell, but that was a very good race. And I may or may
Yep,
not have done a
as
Mark Webber scream when TJ corner cut on the last lap.
as that's going to wrap up for this stream. And thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow for Division 2.